Yeah, of course, Christmas has already started for several people. So the government came up with this decision yesterday, which we'll go and see right as we take you through some of the dailies this morning. So some of them are highlighting that, and of course, as expected. So, but maybe I should just start off with leadership newspaper here this morning. Okay, well, maybe Daily Trust. Let me look at Daily Trust because they first highlighted, then you see some reactions moving forward. So the front page of Daily Trust here says Tinubu cuts bus fare by, look at that, 50%. So that's what the Daily's reporting this morning. Declares free train trips were ready for implementation. Bus owners, book your tickets online. NRC tells air travelers excluded. Well, they said that they were trying to focus on the masses. So,
I got that memo.
So if you're not...
if you're traveling by air, you're excluded from the masses.
Masses don't go by air. Interesting.
Well, Chamberlain, in all honesty, though, I mean, there is a world of difference between paying anywhere from 150,000 naira for maybe a one-way ticket if you're lucky, if you're very lucky. Maybe you booked months ahead a return ticket. Maybe you'll be able to pay 150,000 naira for a return ticket. And paying right now, finding out how much transport is costing. I heard that only recently on one of the top transporters in Nigeria, going from Lagos to Abuja is roughly about 38,000 naira, 38 to 40,000 naira. So there's a world of difference between paying that and paying 40, between paying 150 or even 200,000 naira. Let's just do an average and say 200,000 naira and paying roughly 40,000 naira for transport. And so if there is that disparity, there's a disparity to even buy how many more seats. I think that the target is very much on point. I think that those who want to go by air, of course they too could do with some subsidy. Who doesn't like a discount? Everybody likes a discount. But then I think it's very important that how will I put it now, that the focus in terms of targeting the poorest of the poor or targeting those within a certain income bracket certainly makes a lot of sense in this season.
Well, I know some people will just wonder what the rationale really is about that. Are they trying to say, well, in fact, where does the bulk of the taxes come from? So,
let's not go there. The way taxes work is that if you earn more, you should pay more, and everybody should pay something in order that everybody can get the minimum.
Everybody should pay something.
Everybody should pay something.
Then some people will get something. They get breaks. Others don't get anything. That's just what this is.
Are you a Republican?
Because at the end of the day, if you're saying, well, you go for the masses, they have to properly scrutinize all of that. Well, there you see Daily Trust highlighting all of that now, but you also get to find out, okay, well, if you're saying, no, we're targeting the masses. So, in other words, anything can go on. Just whatever happens with those going by air, well, pay whatever you can because they think you can.
Well, if they feel so hard done by, then go by road.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Road is an option. If they feel the road transportation is there, if you feel like, oh, I really want to enjoy this, then go by road.
No,
if not, then just go by air and keep quiet. Well, okay, it means you can afford it.
If they feel they don't care, then go for the taxes of the other people. Don't disturb certain other people because if you're saying that those folks don't matter, because look, they all pay taxes, because if anything happens to the businesses of those people, those at the lower end of the ladder will be hugely affected.
Are you for real, Chamberlain? Are we really having this conversation?
Of course it has to happen, because, I mean, everybody's a citizen. Everybody's everybody's chipping into the economy.
Can you believe your ears this morning?
The economy affects everybody.
Who are you speaking for this morning, Chamberlain?
Don't you see manufacturers complain?
Are you speaking for the businessmen, or you're speaking for the people? Who are you speaking for?
Do you see the business manufacturers complain? Who did they manufacture for? Everybody. They didn't say I manufacture this this for a group of people and this for the other group of people. No, it doesn't happen that
No,
way.
but
you
even
can't give the impression to society that some people,
Chamberlain, on whose side are you this morning? On whose side are you, Chamberlain?
The matter is, while subsidy removal might have affected everyone, it certainly has affected some people more than some other people.
What did they tell us about subsidy? They said some people are stealing the money. It's benefiting the elite. So who's suffering more now?
Everybody is suffering. Well, I don't know if everybody is really suffering. I know I don't know if everybody is really suffering.
This is the kind of messaging they pass on.
I do not know if everybody, but I do know that a lot of people are suffering. And it is those people, it's like saying that the federal government wants to give bags of rice. Then they should be giving bags of rice to, people who are owners of businesses. Are you for real?
No,
but that's essentially what you're asking for.
No, that's not
That's essentially what you're saying.
No, that's
because
that's
people are affected. That's what you're saying, Chamberlain.
I'm still here. I can shed more light on what I'm the one saying it.
That's precisely what I hear. Ayo and Bukola, what
that's what you hear. Doesn't mean that's what I'm saying.
What are you hearing this morning? Tell me the truth. What are you hearing this morning?
Well, Bukola, go ahead.
Mapa, I'm always on your side, but there just may be an exception today, and for good reason too. Time was in this country, particularly before the crisis of prices caused by the increase in Jet 1 fuel, A1 fuel, when you could travel, a return ticket for max 80,000 naira, and if it was a longer distance, across the country, max you could spend 100,000 naira, but that is not the case anymore. And there's a lower middle class that would prefer to travel, by air, and they deserve a discount as well, in my own view. There are quite a number of people who would prefer, the comfort and safety and shorter travel distance time that air transport provides, and they would rather not go by road. So everyone deserves a discount, and I'm on the side of Chamberlain as far as taxes for the elite is concerned.
Well, I'm on your side, Maopoe, this morning, and so is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Okay, so let's just keep it at that. There are some things they call luxury, all right? In those days, you will remember in the not too distant past, some minister came on air and told us that there are Nigerians who import pizza from different parts of the world. How? By air. So yes, I agree with you, Chamberlain, Mapoe. If you feel hard done by, there are what they call road airplanes or something like that. You can fly on the road. All right, so, and there are luxury buses.
I don't know about that, Ayo. You just might have to define that.
Go online, you'll find some of these vehicles that they
flying by road?
Yes, that they fly by road. They are luxury coaches, okay? So, Chamberlain, that's an option for you, but Markwe, even the president is on your side this morning. It's back to you. Finish your papers.
Well, I know that Labour has already responded. Are you dumbfounded? Did you lost your voice?
It's not possible.
Ayo, thank you, Jerry. Just when you're looking for female support, you will not get it, Bukola. You have to tell me whose side you're on this morning.
I'm on your side.
See if they give them, they won't take it. So you see what we're facing?
I said everybody wants a discount. That is the truth.
No, wants is different from needs.
I want, if I'm going to travel by air, I know families traveling because air travel is too expensive and they're really afraid. But the people who are traveling anyway, going to work or coming to work this morning, the roads are busy. You can see that people are taking whatever it is that they can and they're traveling anyway.
This gives the impression as if, is there even an upper class anymore? Is there even a real middle class in this country, by the way? They give the impression as though, those flying by air, it's very easy for them.
No, it's not. No, I don't
Some
think
have no choice. They just have to because they have to meet up with certain things.
That is the truth.
And then they are down there.
I understand completely, Chamberlain, but the truth of the matter, I get you. I truly do get you. And the truth of the matter is, I think largely the reason why we're where we are is because our rail transport is not fully functional. I can tell you that if we had a rail system from Abuja to Lagos, the airlines too will find it very difficult to find passengers in this season. I can tell if we had a fully functional rail system from here to Lagos, from Abuja to Kano, not Kaduna, to Kano, The airlines will struggle even in this season to find customers because of the prices. And, you know, federal government is now saying zero prices for rail lines. I thank God that we have someone from the NRC coming to talk to us about how that's going to work, because I also see that there might be total chaos as a result of, you know, free transportations.
No, I said they have to book online. Okay, well, he'll shed light.
Anyway,
let's see what he'll
yes, but let's see how that. But I hope that it won't be, because we've seen that before. We've seen that in the past and how it was implemented. But let us, you know, let us focus on the focus right now. The truth of the matter is, some people are worse hit than some other people, and that's the reason why, you know, I can say that they're targeting the right class of people first. First is the key word there.
No, it's not first.
Well, for me, I think it should be for this Yuletide season. That's over. First, you know.
That's not first though. It's only. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Only, not first or second. Just that's the only thing.
Yes, for the Yuletide season, maybe it's only. But at least much later, then, you know, we can all begin to have this conversation.
And by the way,
everybody needs this discount.
So, do we have a? Look, okay. I think I would love to.
There's subsidy somewhere. So if you really feel like, look,
subsidy where?
There's subsidy for the transportation system. So if you really feel like I really cannot afford air travel, there's an option. You can go by road.
Like, we don't know. Well, you'll get to hear the narratives eventually. I hope it's been properly worked out as to who is going to get this. How is this going to be structured? Is it going to be... Anyway, we'll hold on.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, right?
And see.
But,
no,
you know, Labour has responded from what I hear. And they're
you see it in Daily.
They're not impressed. They don't look like...
they're not?
They're not, no.
Oh, okay. I'm done with the trust.
Oh, yeah, that was a lead story. That's
nice
true.
and easy.
Nice and easy. Well, let's look at Vanguard newspapers now. And Rivers crisis is what is taking their own fancy this morning. Fubara will implement Abuja agreements. That's according to Rivers State Government. You find it right there on the front page. Rivers crisis, Fubara will implement Abuja agreements. You also have a number of riders to that story. G27 lawmakers withdraw impeachment notice against governor. Drama as legislators move to withdraw Fubara suit stalls. We have no instruction to withdraw suit. That's according to government lawyer. We aren't aware of withdrawal notice. That's according to the Rivers State Government House. Okay. Tinubu's intervention, a nullity, rape on democracy. That's according to IYC, Niger Delta Groups. Fubara's 100,000 Naira Christmas bonus excites NLC Rivers workers. So at least Labour is responding positively to one type of bonus. Rivers crisis, a threat to Nigeria's democracy. That's according to PDP senators. But the lead story right there, you say it yourself. Rivers crisis, Fubara will implement Abuja agreements. I think that we can leave it there for Vanguard newspapers. But just before we move on from it, Mr. and Mrs. is right there. Why is Mrs. upset this morning?
He doesn't get subsidy.
Oh, dear. Okay, so Mrs. is upset because, you know, she says, what rubbish are you talking about? There is a difference between family planning and planning another family. Mr. says, who's planning another family? We've tried some family planning methods, but it didn't work. I just want to try them with another woman, that's all. What? This is definitely, you know, right up the money this morning when she says there's a whole world of difference between planning another family and family planning. Let's leave it there for Vanguard newspapers. Well,
okay. Here another wives on strike. Let's move on to Leadership newspaper this morning, and of course, Marco already told you earlier that Labour has frowned at the FG's 50% cut in transport fare, and that's exactly how Leadership captions it. Now, wait for the riders, especially this first one. Says, government killing cow with mouth.
Killing what?
Yeah, you heard me right.
No, I didn't hear you.
I'll take it again, Ayo. Says, government killing cow with mouth.
Cow?
Yes.
Audio cow?
Malu.
Audio cow?
Well, cow. Cattle. Well, one this time.
Well.
With mouth. So what was the cow?
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Is that page 4 that is, right?
Yeah, page 4.
Exactly.
Of Leadership newspaper.
Audio
You have
cow.
to do the honors yourself this morning. Wow. Listen to another rider. Passengers without tickets won't board free train. That's ascribed to the NRC. Of course, you'll be hearing more of that on the program. And road transport workers doubt implementation policy. So we're right to ask about the structure. You know, how will it be implemented?
So when government is saying...
Who are those that have been engaged on this policy, and how exactly will it work? Because transportation is, you know, pretty much private sector driven. When
government is saying that, you know, the people should register online.
Well, that's for NRC, but a huge number of Nigerians travel by road.
Well, exactly my point.
Yeah. And
there are transporters that
luxury
operate.
Buses that you talked about earlier.
There are, you know, transporters, road transporters that ply, that you register online. You get your tickets and all online. Are they going to do the same thing are they expecting the NURTW to do the same? If that is, then we have some accountability systems.
Well, if we went by the information provided by the Minister of Solid Minerals, he says all of those unions have been engaged, you know, and there's a plan worked out. But how exactly it will be implemented is one of the questions that we'll be asking on your behalf this morning.
Well, we'll see it.
Let's see some other stories on the front page of Leadership newspaper. I'll go to the top of the paper. Nigeria's debt stock inches to 87.91 trillion naira in Q3, and that's ascribed to the DMO. And there's, you know, another one that is cheery about Nigeria's debt stock having been reduced. External debt now, not domestic debt, as a result of the redemption of a Eurobond. Let's leave it there for Leadership newspaper.
Ho, 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 ho. Yes, I'm Santa this morning. I bring you good news on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. Yes, and it's talking about the same debt, only this time I don't know whose figures you want to look at. Nigerian News Direct says this morning: Nigeria's external debt falls. I could just leave it there. That, I mean, it's decreased, right? That's what it means, right? Mm-hmm. It falls to $41.59 billion. It's still rather high, but hey, it's better than nothing. As DMO redeems $500 million Euro bond. The details of that you'll find on page 10 of the Nigerian News Direct this morning, and a pack of other stories you'll find interesting. That's the Nigerian News Direct today.
Okay, have you looked at The Guardian?
No.
Okay, take a look at The Guardian. They're coming up with this one. 78,446 inmates in dire straits over 750 naira daily feeding cost. Yeah.
Well, who's that? Inmates?
Inmates.
Yeah.
So...
I know that recently they were defending, Nigerian prisons came to defend their budget at the Senate, and it was quite a scene, because I remember that I don't know whether he's chairman of the committee or just a part of the committee. I remember the former governor of Edo State, Oshiomhole, who was representing Edo North in the Senate, you know, taking them up on the amount they're using to feed the prison dogs and the amount they're using to feed prison inmates. So apparently the dogs, the amount allocated to the dogs far more than what they're using to feed human beings who are inmates in the prison. And that stark reality, that stark difference came out while the prisons, the correctional facilities, I don't know why correctional facility is not yet sticking to my tongue. While the correctional facility people were making their presentation and defending their budget before the Senate. So, yeah, what you're just highlighting there on the front page of, what daily is that?
This Guardian.
Yeah.
Security dogs earn higher budgets.
Yes.
They get 800 naira per diem.
Yes, that came out. Came out, and he raised it. He said, "Oh, so you mean we use more money to feed the prison dogs than we used to feed the inmates?" That is very interesting.
Well, basically, they just allocate more money for the dogs. It's not that the dogs get all this.
Because when you even see the dogs, you'll be like, "Oh, poor dogs."
So
poor dogs. Who's speaking for the dogs? Because obviously we're allocating money to the dogs. But when you look at our dogs, you have to ask questions about whether or not those monies are really being spent on the canine department. of each of these facilities.
Oh, even the dogs don't have any dog in the fight anymore these days. So, but look at what's beside this one. Yaba Psychiatric Hospital records 100% admission spike, says CMD.
Oh, wow.
That's telling.
Yeah, it is telling. Mental health. Mental health is a big deal. A super big deal. We really downplay it around here. We do. And we need to pay more attention to it.
That's the Guardian this morning.
Okay, I don't know what's causing this, but Nigerian Tribune is certainly focusing on politics right there. You see it. Amosun blasts Oshiomhole, accuses him of conducting worst primaries in history of democracy, cautions him from playing blame game in his ouster as APC chairman. Okay, so
where's this coming from?
You shouldn't have said that. I just said I don't know the backstory. I wish I did. I would have given you a bit more. But page 2 is where you find details. Two former governors. Interesting. At each other's throat. One now a sitting senator, the other a former senator as well. So you want to know the story? You want to know the nitty-gritty? Go to page 2 of Nigerian Tribune this morning. They also have this. Rivers Assembly begins peace deal, withdraws impeachment notice against Fubara. And then look at this. This is to remove the rumors that had earlier made the rounds. 2024 UTME, no increase in registration fee. That's according to JAM. So I think we had seen some of the dailies carry that there was going to be an increase in JAM fees, but looks like there is a debunking of that story, that JAM doesn't intend to increase registration fees. The details somewhere on page 19. Even though if they had, I mean, I think people might be able to understand, but maybe they too are also feeling the pains of the people. And I don't want to worry us, but it's right here. Nigeria's public debt stock now 87 trillion naira. That's according to DMO. So while we party this December, I think it was Kayode who was talking about dirty December or no dirty December.
That's a drink.
Keep it at the back of your mind that we'll have debts to pay in the new year. Okay? I think we can. Okay, there's also the Senate panel asks IGP to produce CAC registrar within 24 hours. Our story is right there. They have a number of other stories. I mean, it is a very, very busy front page this morning on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. But let's leave it there for the paper.
And take a look next at Daily Independent. You know, while we're rejoicing about 50% reduction in transport fares, you know, other sectors are really not smiling from what Daily Independent is telling us. Listen to this: 5th generation network. That's what we know popularly as 5G. Telcos struggle to deploy services as subscribers' interest fades. Harsh economy, high forex rate, others slow penetration. Reps demand quality service delivery for Nigerians. Now, this is quite interesting. Subscribers' interest fades. Has there been any subscriber interest in, you know, the 5th generation network in the first place? You know, and that informed, I believe, the question, you know, our political editor asked the Minister of Communication in that very interesting interview, you know, from about 2 weeks ago, about whether or not 5G exists in Nigeria. And the minister, you know, was quick to explain that it does indeed exist, you know, but because of the variation in the availability of infrastructure, depending on where you are in the country, you know, perhaps that's why it may not work where you are, you know. But if there has been interest in the 5G service in the first place, is what I'm curious about this morning.
Oh, there are people who are very much interested in faster network, faster internet, and that's what it's all about. But the fact of the matter remains that 2G population is more than 3G population. 3G population is more than 4G population, and 4G population is more than 5G population. And 5G's population isn't as, there are more than
depending on
fiber
the sector
optics.
Where you operate, right?
Yeah, no, depending on the area of Nigeria where you are, which was the reason people were raising issues about the about INEC uploading election results real time at the time. Yeah, so That exists, but then the minister is also correct in talking about the infrastructure. There was a battle that had to be fought by ISPs in terms of what they call right-of-way, interstate rights-of-way and all of those. I think there's been some negotiations around that. Let's hope that within the next few years, few months, maybe hopefully next year, we'll be able to have some conversations and collaborations that will help us to see these infrastructure deployed fast.
Absolutely. Well, and that's why 2G population needs subsidy, such that, you know, their interest can be raised in 5G.
Well, 2G population don't use air travel.
Oh, you're going back there. Chamberlain is going to come for you.
Well,
let's take a look at some more stories from front page of Daily Independent. Go to the top of the nameplate. Rivers crisis. We won't return to PDP. Defected lawmakers. There you have it. That's going to form quite some talking point in the coming days. Withdraw impeachment notice against Governor Fubara, and you know, that came from yesterday. And finally, Lagos orders evacuation of trucks along Tinkan Port Corridor. That's not the only place where we have that problem, by the way. We hope that the Lagos State government can take a look also at Lagos Badagry Expressway. But let's leave it there for Daily Independent.
The Nigerian Observer is also celebrating that promise from the president, relief for travelers as FG slashes road fare by 50% at Yuletide. Grants zero fare for rail travel. Why? Find the details of that on the front page of the paper today. Didn't mention anything about air travel, but hey, maybe the details are on the inside. At the bottom of that page, you'll find, well, just beneath the picture, Tinubu nominates 11 Supreme Court justices, 6 Senate confirmation. And there's been some analysis about the personalities that are involved in this, but the details you'll find there. Right above the nameplate, Oza oil field delivers 75,500 barrels of crude to 2 Edo refineries. That's exciting. That's the Nigerian Observer this morning.
Okay, let's go with This Nigeria next. They focus on a different matter entirely. It's politics. Rivers lawmakers withdraw impeachment notice against Fubara. So that's what you see right there. And then Christmas, Tinubu approves free train ride, 50% cut in transport fare. You see services to run from December 21 to January 4. So, yeah, this is what it is right here. So, we'll look at that anyway. So we'll look at what the management of the road transport and economists, what they think of this policy, if they think it's been properly thought out, if they think it's way to go. So, and by all means, too, if you're watching, tell us what you think of this, by the way. We'd love to hear from you out there. After all, if you use any of the services, we want to hear from you, because it's expected that I think the authorities might have done their homework coming up with this policy. So that's where you come in. That's This Nigeria today.
Well, Business Day, excuse me, is looking at the energy sector. Fled gas worth 696 billion naira can power millions of households. Looks at how much we're actually wasting by not converting gas that has been fled into energy. That story is right there on the front page. You also have right there, Nigerians cut purchases, forgo traditions as Christmas nears. These are some of the consequences of the economic situation that is currently presenting itself before many Nigerians. You also have right there on the front page, Nigeria's debt rises to 87.9 trillion, external portion drops. Okay, so while the debt is rising, our external debt seems to be coming down. So some good news or some bright ray to the rather gloomy figures of debt. Let's leave it there for Business Day.
And do we still have Nigerian Tribune available, Ayo? I believe that will end our newspaper review this morning. There's a lot, to unpack for you, particularly coming from some of the big stories. So stay with us. We'll be right back.